Welcome back to SoCal Watch Reviews. My name is Miguel, and today we're taking a look at a watch from a brand that may not be a household name yet, but after spending some time with this piece, I think they have a lot of potential. This is a Belhamel CONTRA 839 polar dial, and I have to admit this watch surprised me more than I expected. When I first saw it, my immediate thought was that it reminded me of a Rolex Explorer 2 Polar. Now, before anyone jumps into the comments, no, this isn't a one-to-one copy. It's not trying to be, but the combination of the white dial, the pops of orange, the steel bezel, and the overall tool watch aesthetics definitely evoke some of the same feeling. And honestly, that's not a bad place to start. What I appreciate is that the company didn't stop here. Instead of creating another homage, they took familiar elements and added their own personality to the design. The orange accents really bring this watch to life and give it a character all of its own. Now, Belhamel is an Australian brand, and after handling this watch, I genuinely think they have a bright future. There are a lot of microbrands entering the market every year, but not all of them feel fully thought out. This one does. You can tell enthusiasts were involved in the design process. Now, let's talk about the specs, because on paper this thing is incredibly impressive for the money. The case measures 39mm, it's 11.8mm thick and 47mm from lug to lug. On my 6 7/8 inch wrist, the proportions are fantastic. It wears like a proper tool watch without feeling oversized, and that's a difficult balance to achieve. The case itself is made from marine grade 316L stainless steel, and it's beautifully finished. Honestly, that's one of the things that impressed me the most. We can sit here and read specifications all day, but sometimes a watch either feels premium in hand or it doesn't. This one absolutely does. The brushing is crisp, the polished surfaces are well executed, and the transitions between finishes are excellent. Even the case shape reminds me a little bit of the legendary Seiko 62 Moss, which is never a bad thing in my book. Another detail that I love is the lack of crown guards. I'm a huge fan of crown guards when they're done right, but there's something about a clean vintage-inspired case profile that just works. The absence of crown guards here gives the watch a slight more classic appearance and helps reinforce that vintage dive watch feel. The cyan screw-down crown feels solid in operation and contributes to an impressive 300 meters of water resistance. That's serious dive watch territory. Most of us will never need that much water resistance, but it's nice knowing the watch is built to handle just about anything you throw at it. The bezel is 120 click unidirectional, and I have mixed feelings about it. On one hand, the action is satisfying and precise with a nice mechanical feel. On the other hand, it's definitely on the stiffer side. I found it a little hard to turn. Maybe it'll loosen up over time, but that's something worth mentioning. Still, the stainless steel bezel itself looks fantastic and helps separate this watch from the sea of ceramic bezel divers flooding the market today. Now, the dial is another standout. The polar white dial is incredibly clean, highly legible, and easy to read at a glance. The applied hour markers look excellent, and the pops of orange just add enough visual interest without overwhelming the design. Now, for lume, Belhamel uses Swiss Superluminova BGW9. Is this Seiko bright? No, few things are, but it's still very good. It charges quickly and it remains visible throughout the night, and it does exactly what you want a dive watch to do. Now, protecting that dial is a double dome sapphire crystal with 4 layers of internal anti-reflective coating. The crystal looks fantastic and allows the dial to remain visible from virtually every angle. Now let's talk about what might be my favorite feature on the entire watch, the movement. Inside is a Miyota 9039 automatic movement, and honestly, I have to give Belhamel a lot of credit here. At $460, they could have easily gone with a Seiko NH35, charged the same price, and most buyers probably wouldn't have complained. Instead, they stepped things up. The Miyota 9039 operates at 28,800 vibrations per hour, giving you a smoother sweep of the seconds hand. It's thinner than the NH series, more refined, and generally considered a higher end movement. It's also proven reliable and widely respected among enthusiasts. Choosing the 9039 tells me the company wasn't looking for the cheapest path possible. They wanted to build a better watch. Now, the bracelet is another major highlight. It tapers from 20mm down to 16mm and features excellent finishing throughout. It feels substantial without being overly heavy, and the integration with the case is very well executed. The on-the-fly adjustment clasp is incredibly useful throughout the day as your wrist expands and contracts. Once you've owned a watch with on-the-fly adjustment, it's hard to go back. If I had one complaint, is that the clasp itself is a little long. Now, I understand that the adjustment mechanism requires space, but if the company could somehow shorten the clasp in future versions, I think it would improve the wearing experience even more. Another thing I really appreciate is the quick release system on the bracelet. Changing straps takes seconds, and for someone like me who enjoys experimenting with different looks, that's a huge plus. And speaking of straps, the company does offer an FKM rubber strap, and it's excellent. It's incredibly supple. Right out of the box features a side buckle, quick release spring bars, and a pattern that complements the watch perfectly. And honestly, this is one of the better rubber straps I've handled recently. Look, at the end of the day, I think Belhamel has created a very compelling package. For $460, you're getting a beautifully finished 39mm dive watch with 300 meters of water resistance, a sapphire crystal BGW9 lume, a Miyota 9039 movement, a fantastic bracelet with on-the-fly adjustment, and a design that manages to feel familiar while still maintaining its own identity, and that's not easy to do. And if the wide dial isn't your thing, they also offer other dial options, which is always nice to see because not everyone is going to gravitate towards the polar wide aesthetic. For me, this watch is proof that there's still room for creativity in the microbrand space. It borrows inspiration from some iconic designs, but it adds enough of its own flavor to stand on its own merits. I'm genuinely impressed with what this Australian brand has accomplished here, and I'll definitely be keeping an eye on what they release next. Let me know down in the comments what you think of the CONTRA 839. Does it remind you of an Explorer 2? Or do you think Belhamel has created something entirely its own? I hope you guys enjoyed that review, and if you did, please comment, like, subscribe, and hype this video. It really helps. As always, be safe out there and stay humble.